I'm just gonna stack off here. I do think like just calling is a reasonable answer, but I think shoving is a I guess I want to say like equally reasonable answer. I do think like ace 8 specifically calls really well, which is what I was thinking about. Like ace deuce to ace 5 re-steal better. Ace 10 and ace 10 plus obviously re-steals quite effectively. So I folded deuces here. I was thinking about that, and then said fuck it, and jammed anyways. What are your thoughts on Dan Bilzerian joining GG? Didn't know that happened. LOL. I mean, like, like hiring influencers is great. Like, that's what businesses do. They hire people that have reach, and like Dan Bilzerian has reach. So, I mean, that's just like facts. So, from that perspective, it makes sense. Like if someone's saying like, from like a technical poker perspective, but it makes sense in the same way that like party poker having Kevin Hart makes sense. Now, obviously, Kevin Hart's way better than Dan Bilzerian, and it's not even close. But like it's the same type of move. It's not like it's like to the extent that it's even true. Right? I don't know if someone's just trolling me or not. If you are, well played. But yeah, that's the way I would think about it. It's like it's the same way as it's that type of a decision. It's not the type of decision that's like, this is recognition for someone's poker skill or something, like LOL. Not even close. So, but like a decision can still make sense, which is fine. He's just, he's just getting dollars. Site's just getting exposure. Seems fine. I double floated this. I think it's close on the turn. So I raised pre, he called, check called, I check called flop, check called turn. It's interesting. In part, it's interesting because I don't think check shoving really makes sense. It looks like it does, but I don't think it works the way people think it works, because I think this range is like boats a lot. Or bluff. And when this player is just like totally full of it, it's a bluff. I think this hand's like probably better to call than some other hands. I really don't think this player's bluffing though, so I'm gonna call like with a 25% weight, just because I feel obligated to not fold this hand pure. Okay. But yeah, me and Ape Styles, more than almost anyone have just in terms of volume and the number of players we've coached, we've probably coached more people than anybody else in the game. We've taken people from like 0 to hero more times than anyone else. We have more success stories than anyone else. Probably have more failures too. But we work really hard, both of us, work really hard not to fail, not to fuck up. We've both gone into staking organizations together that were not mine, that were failing, and turned around substantial components of their roster when the entire business model was just tragic. He and I took on a project together like that. I try to go to sleep at the same time. Like, I am trying to perform at a high level. So, like, I'm not saying that I'm doing a great job either. Like, maybe I look sleepy as fuck. People told me I look exhausted all the time when I started streaming. But I try to do things that make it so that I can perform at a high level. And then, like, the performance is just what it is. I mean, like, I appreciate that you think it's at a high level. Thank you. But, yeah, I kind of feel similar. Like, this is the same kind of fucking spot. Now, the risk here is that my calling range just gets too capped. So I am going to make the call for kind of like the strength of my range purposes. And the reason for that is because, like, not only do I have a straight, but I have a straight plus a spade blocker. So, like, if I'm not going to call with hands like this one, like, what am I calling with, kind of thing. So I have pocket queens in this range. So, yeah, I mean, I do think that the turn is like going to be overweight value bets for my opponent that are basically going to be bluffs for my opponent that are going to be capable of calling a shove, which makes it very tempting to jam for value on the turn. If he's going to call with all his value, if you have the nuts and he's going to call with all, or close to the nuts, and he's going to call with all his value bets, but he's also going to call with all his bluffs, shouldn't you just jam? Yeah, but if you jammed with all of the hands like that, then your calling range would just get nuked on the river. And so, in the interest of that, I called, but I think shoving's like very defensible and reasonable, good, etc. This is obviously standard. It's good to win. Hey, we're gonna go bounty hunting. Going bounty hunting, baby. Time for Boba Fett to do his thing. Well, that's not much fun, is it? Oh, yes, it is much fun. That wasn't... I thought I was going to lose. It's nice not to lose. Can't really fold. Shoving's kind of overrated. It's better if I'm on the hijack, I think, or the cutoff. So I guess that leaves calling. I hate these situations. It basically ends up being like good luck us. Even if he jams, I'm going to be screwed into calling. I'm not happy about it, so this is just an SPR thing. It sucks. Yeah, like I said, it sucks. We almost sucked out, and then we lost. All right, pretty good. There we go. Not the worst. I ended up open and shoving this hand here, which I won't do it at pure weight, but I'll do sometimes. Gonna open shove this hand as well. Yeah. It's a pretty fast call, so I'm not super thrilled, but I'm happy when I see king 9 until I see that flop and that turn. Okay. GG. Starting chip 77,000. Ugh, fuck. I bet that means I have to call with like close to any two. I'm gonna make the call with 10-4 off. It could be wrong. But I mean, I think it's right, so I call. and like it's that simple. So obviously, like that type of a decision is bad for my win rate. So there's that too. But and the fact that I'm like making better KO adjusted calls probably than most people are probably means that my win rate goes down and not up. But it's fine. My win rate hasn't suffered too much. I'm gonna open this hand actually. I think limping it's fine, but I'm gonna raise. I'm gonna bet small to start. Okay, so the deuce is mostly a blank. We would think that when I 3.5x the small blind, he's folding most 2x combos pre-flop. So am I. So like neither one of us has those hands much. I'm gonna bet pot on the turn, which I think's a reasonable answer. My opponent can have a full weight of ace 10, but oh well. And okay, so here we have the win rate again. So now you can see it's dropped a little bit. So it dropped down to 3.82, and it was 4. So it's the same. I mean, like yes, it did move, but it's pretty much the damn same. So like as far as what's going on when BBZ plays tournaments at high stakes, like how's he doing? Like doing fine. So got a solid win rate. I have a good ICM adjusted strategy, so there's no reason for that to be causing me problems. When we run filters for like high stakes tournaments, we run the filter. What that was $100 plus tournaments. What happens then? Does BBZ still win? Yeah, BBZ still wins. And like I said, the reason I think that it's important for you guys is because, I think I've been coaching for a long time. Like how I communicate, how I talk to people, like my ability to communicate the ideas and things that go through my head, I think is at a higher level than what most people are capable of, who are very successful high stakes professional poker players. I believe that. This spot sucks. I mean, this player is just jamming 20 bigs, right? So now it doesn't suck anymore. I would have called. So I mean, I think it sucks, but I would have probably called. Yeah, this player had the goods. So like the strategies are good, like et cetera, et cetera. I've got a staked roster, obviously, where we deploy the strategies actively and where I'm betting far more money than any high stakes poker player that plays online is betting. And I've been doing it for longer. It's bad river. Oh well. So yeah, hopefully that may, to the extent that anyone's uncomfortable, hopefully that the combination of those things makes people more comfortable. Andrew God, kind of like just like almost like right on cue. I saw that you don't play high stakes anymore. I mean, like usually you're not broke. You decide to spend more time with your family, like whatever. But what's the difference if you keep playing? If you keep playing, that keeps you busy. I mean, like like there's the business side of it. There's just like kind of personal, kind of like me time, like with my family and shit. As far as like what keeps me busy. But again, like I feel like As like whatever happens, like I'm streaming a bit less or whatever. I mean, I streamed every single day last week minus Saturday. So I don't know. So when I say I'm streaming less, I don't know how true that is. If I stream less, and I might not stream less. I'm just like telling you I might stream less. And like if I stream less, it's because like those things don't need me to stream a bunch as much as they did. Like right, a year ago, none of you knew who the fuck I was, and like now people know who I am. I've proven, you know, in my opinion, I've proven that I can beat high stakes. I won money, but like also the results are just there. In terms of win rate, obviously I've got, you know, like I co-authored the ICM course. I think it's obvious that I've got a solid ICM adjusted strategy. So, you know, people want to invest in me to help them learn how to play the game. Like, awesome. And if, you know, someone's like still not convinced, like I'm probably not going to convince that guy. Like that's the reality. You know what I mean? So I would be capable of folding 8x here. I don't think that you want to fold king 8. I think that when he's value betting to pot size on an ace high flop, a lot of that is going to be ace queen, ace king. So I think queen 8 and king 8 are going to be the 8s that get more stubborn first, and then like you can fold the other ones more quickly. I think on the turn against pot twice, my range gets sufficiently narrow to just defend an ace, and so I can fold this now. And then maybe I can't like pure fold this, but like I'm gonna have a hard time like thinking that hand is like more than like a 20% call or like a 15% call. Okay guys, across all of the platforms that we're active on, you guys have made it very clear that in a product you need something that is both comprehensive, affordable, and delivered at a high level. So a lot of people currently are being priced out of poker, and we're going to change that. So what we've done inside BBZ is we've assembled from over 150 hours of my personal content that I've created and delivered for my students and horses over the last 18 to 24 months. We took the best content from that and we structured it all, laid it out in a very A to Z course style format, and are now delivering it at this price point. That's right, this price point. Wait for it, 100 bucks, okay? So we're gonna have over 20 hours of content in this. This has never been done before, and we are going to help you to crush, okay? So this is going to be soup to nuts, A to Z, affordable, high level, and comprehensive. Head over to bbzpoker.com and get it now. Jordan, do you have a hobby or passion that you love that doesn't make you money but you just love besides poker? I mean, that was jiu-jitsu. I was really getting into jiu-jitsu. I was, you know, studying it all the time. I was watching videos like 24/7, and I was starting to really get into jiu-jitsu. But COVID, you know, just kind of makes that really challenging. Combat sports are like probably the most like one of the worst things you can do if, you know, from like a COVID perspective. Right? So, you know, having someone stand on top of you and strangle you and breathe in your face, I think like it's kind of tough to fold, to be honest. Like I wish I could, but I mean, like once I do the math, I think that this hand's just gonna have like a really tough time folding. Glad I called. Glad I called. I don't really expect to see worse hands much, to be honest. Like it's a pretty sweet deal when I see ace-10 suited. I'm gonna mostly be flipping or fucked. So I didn't know you did BJJ. I'm a blue belt. You're better than me. I'm not even a blue belt. So I started it this year. Did I start in 20? I think I started in 2020. I might have started at the end of 2019. I can't remember. I think I started at the end of 2019. And yeah, I was just like, I was having tons of fun. And then COVID happened. So yeah, I haven't been training for long. But I'm kind of like, you know, the way that I'm wired, like I just go, like once I start something, it's like 100%. I think these ranges are still too weak for the most part. I think I'm going to end up having a call. Well, that's a really shitty hand to see. Obviously, it's a KO thing. If there's no KO, then there's no call. And I don't think it's a snap, but I think that it's not a fold, so I call. I don't know. That's what I think. Tips for transitioning from cash to tournaments: focus on studying probably like really short stacks, like maybe 25 big blinds. I would say don't spend as much effort necessarily focusing on like 15, but I would say like 20 to 25. Spend a lot of time focusing there. I just think this player has such a hard time. It's a very I do think that Equilibrium probably has me 3-betting aces mostly, but like it's just like so hard on this player when these players shove to like have a folding range even, like, and so it's tempting to try to, like, you just make so much when these players drop it in because of like what his fold percentage looks like when they jam, that it's tempting to kind of like not fold. Gonna call. Don't think it's very close with this hand. Happens. The theory behind facing all in versus 20 less than 20 big blind stack, like, and calling. I mean, it mostly comes down to odds. So you're like, you know, you kind of have to do some work with programs like, you know, Equilab, or which is free. That's why I mentioned it. So, but like, you know, free programs which are just like equity calculators, and you just say like, you build a range, a sample range, and you say like, okay, I have, I don't know, queen jack suited, and my opponent shoves like this range, which is, you know, theoretical. It's not his actual range because you don't have his actual range. How much equity does my hand have against his range? And so like maybe your hand has 41% or something. And then you do the math on the price you're getting in the in-game, right? So they shove on you and you're getting a price. Like, costs you 100K to call, and after you call, there's 300,000 chips in the middle. So there's 200 in the middle before your call and 300,000 after your call. It costs you 100 to call. So it's your call, which is 100 divided by the total pot, which is 300. So 100 divided by 300 is 33%. So you need 33% to call. Your hand is queen jack suited. You have 41. It's way too much. You have way more than enough equity to call, and you can't fold. So you call, okay? And, you know, and if you had a hand that had 34%, you'd still call. And if you had a hand that had 36%, you'd still call. And if you had a hand that had 28%, you'd fold because you needed 33, right? If you had a hand that had 32%, you'd fold because you needed 33. And like, that's how it works. That's how it works. So that's what the exercise is. The exercise is, what's the equity that I need to call, right? Given the price. And then how much equity does my hand have against the shoving range? That's what we're doing. And there's that's imprecise because I don't know the guy's range exactly, and I don't know my equity against the range exactly. And there's gonna be human error like that's just littered throughout this whole process. Okay, but that's the exercise, and you're trying to do that as best you can. And the better you do it, the more money you make, and the less well you do it, the less money you make. And then KOs, which like is the case in this tournament that I'm playing right now. KOs serve to complicate the math, because now you've got to try to quantify this $28.87 in the context of that whole equation we did earlier. And then you've tried to modify the calculation for this, accounting for this, and still come up with a reasonable answer. Sounds hard? Because it is hard. It's not easy. It's hard. It's not impossible, though. It's just hard. And like I said, the better you get, the more money you make. The worse you are, the less money you make. This isn't very close here. Against this bet size, I think I mostly fold bluffs that we're betting the flop and giving up now. So this hand calls. It's going to lose to a king-queen a lot, but it's not close. So whatever. We're obviously calling. If nobody else calls, we're calling. Can't call that, though. Give me my hand back. I'll definitely run it. I'll definitely run it against ace-9 and ace-9. I'll take my pair against ace-9 and ace-9 all day. I don't think it matters that much like what my hand was. When this player jams with 5 big blinds, I think we just run it. What was the family's reaction when you first told them that I wanted to play poker for a living? So I didn't actually tell them, in the sense that like other people have to tell them, right? So I was just like, it was more like a thing I was doing. Like they got, so I grew up in Arizona, okay, so that's where my family was. My brother and myself, when we were like 18, 19 years old, we moved to Canada because we were born Canadian. And we were working here, making money here. And my family didn't have anything to do with my life. Zero. They didn't tell me where to go to work. They didn't tell me to go to school. They didn't pay for school, like none of that shit. So, like, you know, we were just, me and my brother were like on our own. And so whatever I was doing was what I was doing, right? And I was making more money playing poker than I was doing anything else. Just making rational kind of microeconomic decisions, opportunity costs, like where You know, right now I'm working at 7-Eleven and Urban Planet clothing store, right? So seven a clothing store. Door-to-door sales job comes up. Door-to-door sales job pays better. Jump to that job, right? Door-to-door sales job, kind of, you know, we switch campaigns. This campaign makes more money. We go do that door-to-door sales job. I start playing cards on the side, and eventually playing poker makes more money than door-to-door sales. I jump to poker. And then I would go home for Christmas. And so in December, I went home. And Christmas was great. And, you know, I was like, can I stay? And the reason that I want to stay, can I stay with you guys for a few months? And the reason I want to stay for a couple months is because, like, I'm playing cards for a living. This is how I'm making money. But it requires money. And so, like, if I skip rent for, like, 2 or 3 months, like, it's a fucking big deal to me. Because, like, my ability to compound the roll, like, the way, you know, the way poker works, you can bet more money. I can make a lot more money if I can stay with you guys for, you know, a couple months. So I did. Stay with my parents for a couple months. They didn't charge me rent. And that was awesome. And then I was kind of back on my own. I stayed in Arizona for like another 7 months or so, maybe 6 months, 7 months probably. I think I left in like November, around there. And I came back to Canada, and that was it. So my family's reaction wasn't like this is how I'm making, this is how I eat. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like there was no, I don't know, maybe they could still, like maybe some people's parents would still have something to say, but like mine didn't. So they were super supportive. They were awesome. But again, like I think the nature of the conversation is like when people say like, well, my parents aren't supportive. It's like, well, were you going to MIT and then you dropped out to play cards, right? Then, you know, like the lack of support makes sense. Like they're disappointed. They're like, you fucking idiot. Go get a degree in, I don't even know what people who go to MIT get degrees in. Go do that. And like, I think, and that's, you know, like, I'm not saying that they're right or not, but you can at least understand it. Me and my brother were on our own. We're like, yo, we're not selling drugs and killing people. And they were like, fucking great. That's awesome. You know, it was more like that. I'm just going to shove. Mostly because like I don't think he's got bluffs. I can't get away from this hand at this SPR. We have too little left, and there's the only hope that I have of getting my money against the worst hand is like to shove. And like at this SPR, I'm just not check folding. I'm not check calling. And I'm just going to jam and like lose to the king and ace of diamonds. Like I think that's still the best answer. Like I don't know, maybe it's not, but it feels like the best answer to me. All right. That's enough. I think that thanks very much for hanging out with me guys today. I appreciate it. Very local stream, so the conversations were cool. So thanks. And yeah, I'll see you guys. The BBZ bundle and the Ape Styles bundle are, in my opinion, not even fucking close. There's nothing that comes close. Those are the highest value products you can get in tournaments. And again, I have not been saying that about the other stuff that's on the site necessarily. Those are the best fucking values that exist today. So if you've got $100, you're trying to get better at poker, go get the BBZ Poker bundle. Go get the Ape Styles bundle. That is how you get a good return on money, in my opinion, in today's poker climate. So thanks very much. I appreciate it, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.